Up for discussion this week are a BioWare team interview, a new community team helper while Musco is on very special assignment, and a dive into our latest story beat. That and more on this episode of the Escape Podcast for Star Wars The Old Republic. Our broadcast astromech today is EPC 328. And playing alongside me is Seema. Hi, Seema. How's it going?
Hey, Max. Well, it's going pretty good. Yeah, I was just thinking about Sonny and Cher for some reason.
Foreshadowing.
We did not do a podcast last week, so I will tell you that last couple weeks I've spent my time, always sort of conquest related, leveling my little menagerie. Well, leveling the operatives and scoundrels and sorks and sages anyway, because yeah, I like stealthing through things and I like AoEing things.
Yep.
So, and then I also spent some time on. I got behind on opening crates and stuff. Ever since I got to 306, it's been less exciting for me to open crates, so they're starting to pile up again. So I spent some time opening crates and figuring out what I actually want for stats and trying to match my mods and enhancements and armorings and stuff to that. So, yeah, that was a fun couple of hours. Not.
Right. Yeah. Yes and no. I'm in the same state. I know we even talked about it a little bit. And
right.
Trying to figure out a process to make it easier.
I mean, I appreciate the people who put together spreadsheets and stuff, because I'm not anti-spreadsheet, and I've made plenty of spreadsheets
Your uncle's
for
spreadsheet.
myself to keep track of things or to figure out things. But like the spreadsheets, just reading the spreadsheets is more effort than I want to do it sometimes. So, yes. So, but I've been doing that. So my gear is, I wouldn't say min-maxed, but sort of like at least not completely stupid.
It's
or
min
completely wrong.
CMUD. It's not min maxed.
It's what?
It's min CMUD.
Yeah, it's not min-maxed. It's right.
Yeah.
It's min Imperial woman.
Yeah.
But not min-matted.
Min-mat. I forgot about Matt and Imperial Woman.
But I don't know. I just am in this phase right now where I like doing. I have this little list of, on the pub side it's much better than on the imp side, but on this pub side I have this little list of heroics that I can go through on a stealth character and do like about 8 of them in like 15 minutes, and I just go bloop 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 bloop. It's pretty fun. So that's why I'm leveling operatives and scoundrels, and sorks and sages I use for like rampages if we have them, and so I slowly make a personal target and get some XP for them. Pretty soon I'll run out of characters to level though.
Sure. But it's useful still for both conquest and crates that you don't want to open, but crates.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, and also when I'm trying to make a personal conquest personal target, sometimes I don't want to do the activities that are the high point activities that week. Like I always don't want to do GSF, right? So,
right.
But some weeks we don't do a conquest activity in MFN, or there aren't rampages or other things that I like to do, and I just go through and do these heroics, and you get points for them. You get points for killing things, and you get points for completing the quest, so it adds up to personal conquest target.
Yeah.
So, and I've also been doing some slicing for missions, because you suggested a couple weeks back that was a good thing to do. So I have one character that just does crew missions. She doesn't have any crafting, but she does diplomacy, underworld trading, and slicing. So I took her out to Onderon, which, by the way, if you didn't know this, or if anyone didn't know this, you can just go to Onderon.
And
like on
not
the
having done
map.
the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good there's
tip.
no special, there's no barrier. And so I just took her over there to Onderon, and she goes, you know how sometimes you have like 10 or 15 or maybe even just 5 minutes that you just want to break and you sit down? You can go run around a little circle and wander on in the city and hit a few slicing nodes. And, you don't always get a mission, but sometimes you do. And if it's slicing or diplomacy or underworld trading, I just kick it off. If it's anybody else, I just stick it in the mail and
Yep.
log out. Come
Yeah.
back and do it later.
And that
Have
is
a
the
cup of tea.
solution. If for people that don't remember when we were talking about it, that is the solution for getting legendary embers, which is a
Yeah,
bottleneck for a lot of crafters. So yeah,
right.
good deal.
So yeah, I've been doing that and having some fun. How about you, Max?
Cool, cool. Yeah, I've been having the rat ghoul plague IRL, so that hasn't been fun.
Yeah.
I don't get a cold. I'm just a cold, but I don't get one very often, so I felt extra bad for myself. It's
Yeah.
really like once every
I'm the
18
same
months.
right, I'm the same way. I rarely get sick, but when I do, I feel really sorry for myself.
Yeah, yeah. It wasn't even that bad. Although now it's lingering and it's been like 8 days and that's making me angry. But that's my secret. I'm always angry. So I'm still a tiny bit scratchy, a tiny bit like my ears were a tiny bit clogged, a tiny bit of a sinus headache. I'm like, yeah, come on. And I've been working like crazy, like a lot of
Yeah,
work
and that
events.
doesn't
And
yeah.
then I'm like washing my hands 50 times a day so I don't get anyone else sick. I was mostly like when I first got sick, I was just home for 4 days because it was over a weekend anyway, which is always great. Nice to be all laid up for the weekend, but better than
Yeah,
going
of
to work and
course.
getting people sick. So I was better by the time I needed to be back in the office and not, and I'm sure I probably wasn't contagious at all, but I still was like washing my hands 50 times a day. But anyway, I did get some playtime in. Some of those same sorts of things. Conquest. I like our ops night last week was really fun. We've got the huntsman
Yeah.
down, like
Yes, we
clean
did.
clean kill, and we nearly killed apex predator on like our second pull. I think we had him down to like 15%, but and we were just trying to figure out the fight. We had never even done it before. So not bad. I'm calling it now. We've got that place on farm. We should move up to vet mode,
Right.
as the case may be. Yeah. So I still like it. I still like Duxon. But somebody said, oh, yeah, I think Marcus's team was like looking for a sub. We're in an in between week. We're gonna go back and do Gods from the Machine in story mode just to because somebody doesn't have the 8-man story mode achievement. One person on our team, so we're just gonna go through and do that. And I was like, oh, I forgot about that place. I want to go back there. So maybe we'll convince our team to go back there before long.
Options.
Yes. So yeah, lots of fun stuff, and we'll continue to have fun with fun things because it's fun. So there you go. That's my official word, and I'm sticking by it. Let's talk about some news.
Now, an Imperial News Network report.
In the news, first up, we had the vet stacks were removed from master mode operations in one of the 6.1 or 6.1a patches. And that confused everybody because it wasn't even in the patch notes. And some people got a little angry. Some people got angry that it was not in, and then some people got angry that it did go in, and some people got angry that it wasn't communicated, and some people got angry that it wasn't on the PTS. So check the box for whichever one made you angry and make sure you post on the forums about it, because that's the way that goes.
Right.
I wasn't exactly clear, and I was, I've been down for the count, so I haven't been paying a whole lot of attention. I had to like read back through 6 or 7 pages, and I'm still not 100% clear. I guess you were getting those 30 stacks of boost when you were going into the non Duxon operations for master mode, and then they took those stacks away. And in my head, still, I can't decide if that was a good move on their part or a bad move on their part. The best of the
But it
best
was a
elite
move.
dudes, yeah, it was a
Very
move,
confirmed.
and the best of the
They
best elite dudes will say, Yeah, well, if you can't do it with naked with only two people and clear the operation, then you suck. So learn to play and delete your account. I think that's what they said. And
That's
don't
your
quote
lead
me.
voice, huh?
But other people sort of had some progress setbacks because they were doing some master mode progression on some of those old operations, and that won't feel good to anybody. But in my head, I thought it meant when you got into those non-Duxon operations, you're scaled down to 70, in which case, if you're scaled down to 70 and you don't have that 30 stacks up to your 306 gear, then in effect, you're doing those in 270 gear. In my head, this is the way I'm going. And maybe I'm not right, so feel free to comment in the comments of wherever you're listening to
Wherever
this
you comment.
podcast and tell me how
Yeah.
wrong I am. No, Max, actually, you are a complete idiot. Go ahead, just bring it on, because I probably am. But it's so I don't get it, it seems to me that they should be there just so that you're running at 306 gear level synced to the master mode of the level 70 operation. Am I cracked, Seema? Well, yes, but am
Well,
I wrong about this also?
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. So yeah,
I tried to know, but knowing did not come into my.
and knowing is half the battle. So we have lost the whole battle, Seema.
So like, right, we have lost the whole battle on that one.
Huh, that's sad.
Also, we got a little update last week with some minor fixes and the 5-year reward update.
Oh, right.
It was fixing something that the original 5-year reward didn't go out to everyone it should or something, so then they sent it out to everyone, or I don't know. But anyway, we got it last week and it was that tauntaun, right?
No, it was the stronghold decoration with the 5,
Oh, right.
which
Oh
I
my
am
gosh.
now. I've got it in the little preview window, although it's a little hard to see. But it's like a pedis. It's like a
I'm confusing it with the
we got the strong we got the cool tauntaun also,
yes,
but that was for something else.
that was
Whatever that was. But yeah, it's whatever. It's a little 5, a hollow 5 above like a
yeah.
trophy
So
platform.
we actually got so so lots of people got 2 decos. If you got the original one, then now you got this one too.
Right. Yeah. But the point was we got the original one, and then everybody had the original one sort of unlocked for them to buy off the anniversary vendor on accident. So
Oh,
then
I
just the
see.
people who qualified for the original one got this new one then too. And
I
I
knew it was
will
something like that.
purchase for
But
guild.
you know, it was
Yes.
over 5 minutes ago that I read it. It
Yes.
didn't.
It's out of my head. Also in the news, Eric Musco, it was about a year ago. He said, or no, I guess he says a couple of years ago. Boy, time flies. How many years have we been doing this podcast?
2
10,000. When 3,000
right.
years old your podcast is, look as good you will not. So 2 years ago, I made a post like this where I would let you know I was getting married and would be out of the office for a few weeks. That was round 1. Well, I'm back for round 2. He's expecting a child. So he's got a kid
Yeah.
on the way, going to be here soon. He's leaving for a little bit of leave when the young Padawan appears. So grats to Eric. That's really
Yeah.
awesome. I've got
That is great news.
a few kids of my own, so I know how that goes, and it's good times for the rest of your life in a good way. So that's nice. Also, then on the heels of that, we're getting a little extra help in the community forums by a new voice that we have not heard before. I've never heard of before. Someone who's called Natha. And Natha says, people call me Natha. I'm French, but I've lived in Ireland since 2015. I love food and hiking. Most humans I've heard like food. I think it's sort of required. I like
I
to
think it
breathe
means
oxygen. Wow, how unique.
uh, no, it means something different when when you're
Oh,
describing yourself and you say I
like
love food.
I like good food and I seek out unique combinations of
And
food.
I like learning about food and I like making
Mm,
food.
Maybe. See, you humans confuse me. Do not
Even though
hesitate to
you
send me
also are.
suggestions on both. Last but
She
not
seems like
least,
she also mentions that she's new to the community team, but she's not new to SWTOR. So she's
so now you are saying she, and I kind of thought it was a she, but I tried to read through here. I have not confirmed that it's a she, so
oh my gosh.
it could be a he. So if you
It's
know
sort of like
Natha,
how
like I know, if you know Natha, like I know, if you know Natha, let us know if or maybe it doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. But send Natha suggestions for food and hiking. For hiking, I recommend the Grand Tetons and Sedona, Red Rock Sedona. I like that for hiking. There you go. Who else did we hear from, Seema?
Also, Daniel Steed posted, who it's actually been a year since he started posting, which that also seems like a short time.
Yeah.
But one of the things that Eric mentioned was that in his semi-absence, that Daniel will be taking a more upfront approach to the forums too. But he also has these responsibilities, if you don't know this already, responsible for website publishing. He also is running the content creator program, and he works with everyone that's in that group. And he does social media posting on all the different platforms, which also it sounds like NAFA will be helping with social media.
Okay.
And then he also creates assets used for community/marketing. Oh, like the Alderon trailer for they did make that trailer for the Alderon Stronghold. That was pretty cool.
You're an asset. I don't know why I said that. It popped into my head and then it comes out of my mouth because that's what happens in my head. Also, in the news, you didn't read my title for your little segment about Dan.
I did.
What do Dan do?
Yes, I did read that.
Did you? Well, you read it, you didn't say it, I guess.
I read it with my eyeballs, but I did not say it with my...
A couple posts on bugs that have shown up as well, so you can read those in the bug tracker. I didn't dig into it. Apparently, there's some sort of exploity bit in Karaga's Palace that people are exploiting for exploity purposes. Something where you can farm the completion, reset the phase, and gives you a conquest cap, and you
you kill all the mobs before the first boss, and you reset that.
Oh.
I just thought it was funny too because somebody in the
That's not that
in that thread mentioned that that the same thing used to happen in he couldn't remember if it was Ravagers or Temple of Sacrifice. I'm like, well, it wasn't Ravagers.
It was not Ravagers. I
there is
killed
no
all the
trash
trash for all the teams for forever before the first boss.
I don't
of
know. I just
Ravagers.
thought that was funny. You just run into Ravagers, run up to the first boss, then run out and reset the instance.
Why doesn't this work? I'm still at 0 conquest points. How about you guys? Let's try it again. One more time. Maybe this time. So that's one bug. And then the other bug, what was the other bug? Let's see. I think it was Isaac's was doing
the
wacky
res
things.
timer thing.
Oh, right. Which is where it was invented. The 30-second res time where it was invented in Isaac's and then turned on for everything else. And for some reason went away for Isaac's.
Well, that totally makes sense to me.
Kind of does. Yeah,
it was
right.
unique to Isaac, so it was like almost like part of his mechanic. And then when they made it, game wide, then it probably just broke the original sort of unique version of it that was just for Isaac.
They did it. They double implemented it for Isaac's, so it was like a double negative, and it cancels itself out. That's what happened.
Because that's how it works.
Because that's how coding works. I am a coding master. I am a coder. Coder. That's what it. Coder. Last up in the news, what was? Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Tell me
so there
about
was
this. I
another
didn't. You
interview
read more than I
posted, and
did.
this was
Yeah.
yeah. So it was basically Dan talking to two of the designers and who work or dev people who worked on the Alderaan stronghold. So he
Mark
asked some questions
Taylor
like,
and Emily
yeah,
Henderson.
yeah, and they're game designers and world builders. And he asked some questions like, why did they pick Alderaan? Um, what was your favorite feature of it? And stuff like that there. And then there's going to be a follow-on post where they talk about the actual stronghold, its functionality and its design. Like I guess maybe that means where this hallway goes and where that hallway goes, or but we'll find out.
Yeah, I never went bothered to go back and solve that one little puzzle part of the Killick
Oh
part of the
yeah.
stronghold that I forgot about. I got to go back and do that. And then they called out two other members of the development team that were working on it, which is Scott Bechara and Ben Berzowski. So stay tuned.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, and
one of the things
that's
they
who's
said
going to
in
be
here.
in the next interview. I see. So it was Mark and Emily this interview, and Scott and Ben next interview. Huh, cool.
And they were saying that the way this stronghold started out is that Mark was kind of conceptualizing it and working on it as a pet project. So, in other words, he'd work on it when he had free time from his real project. And then when the whole project got like the go, that's when the rest of the team came on and
Oh,
started
cool.
working to sort of his thoughts about it and fleshing it out, making it happen.
So when Mark was supposed to be doing his real work, he was off goofing off, doing some design on Alderaan. Now we know. Lucky.
So, another way you can look at it is that instead of watching 3 seasons of Stranger Things on Netflix, he was working on his ideas for an Alderaan stronghold
No,
at
there's
night.
only one way to look at anything, Seema. If I've learned anything,
If I've learned anything, is that there's
there's
never
there's only
more than one
one
way of looking
side
at
to
something.
every story. Uh, in Guild and Community News, Chuck Boyd did a little interview. I think Eric was on with him on the Utini cast. So check out those guys, Dr. SWTOR and Chill, interviewing Chuck and Eric. And pretty cool little interview there. That's always fun to get any of the BioWare team out doing those things. So thank you to them for that. Why don't you do the next one? Because you
Okay.
actually discovered this next person, and then we both have interacted with them quite a bit over the years. Who's
Yeah,
a new
so
content
so
creator?
Intisar, who writes the blog This Week in Orabesh, which is a really cool blog. You should check it out. Um, he's just an all-around good person, very knowledgeable about Star Wars and SWTOR, fun to play with. So he's joining the content creators team. So I guess Daniel Stutstein will be, you know, interacting with him on that.
Yeah, yeah,
Daniel,
and just Indusar's great, great, great,
yeah, he is.
great, 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 great guy. So that is awesome. And then, of course, guild news. We continue our usual guild fun and activities. You know what sort of slipped by that we didn't really pay attention to this year? Our guild anniversary. That just sort of
Oh,
scooted on by. It's December
yeah, it did.
actually, and we usually celebrate it in January, but now it's March in a couple days, so I guess it's a little late at this point. And that's what 6 year anniversary, 7 year anniversary, eight, whatever. I mean, or
Oh,
not
yeah,
nine. No, I guess it's nine
some
because
number.
next year is the 10 year anniversary, right?
Yeah,
Is December the 10 year anniversary, or is December the 9 year anniversary? And they're going to announce what they're going to do for the 10 year anniversary. I don't know.
42.
Anyway, it's been many years. And our guild, AIE, is 13 years old. AIE was founded, or even 14 years old, founded many years ago. we also then created a Star Wars: The Old Republic division when Star Wars: The Old Republic was in beta. You could even form the guild when the game was in beta, and then preload your guild members for launch, which we did. So we've been in both the Republic and the Imperial side since launch, and we are. Chat room says over 9,000. We are over 900. A lot of old unplayed characters on both sides, but we are over 900, well over 900. I keep having now to delete characters on both sides, which we usually have not had to do over the years on the Republic side. It just sort of slowly grew to 1,000. But just old alts are now having to get cleared out. I think we have a couple old alts for people that are like 2 years unplayed, so it's fine. But yeah, we're sort of filled up with old characters and tons of new characters that keep coming in every week. If you would like to be one of those new characters, aie-guild.org. That's why we do this podcast. Shout out to the chat room. Everybody's helping us out. I had, I'm out of it just for a little bit, and my podcast rig gets delusions of grandeur, and it wasn't working, of course, when I started up. But I think we got most of it worked out. Chat rooms, I think, is saying everything is looking okay. So glad to be back online. And thank you all for putting up with us taking a week off last week because I was not feeling so well. And by the time it got, I didn't get sick until like the day before the podcast, and I really would have been like sneezing and coughing and stuff on video the whole time. And it just made sense to postpone, just to skip it, the whole thing for that week. So, but we're giving ourselves a little bit more slack to do that kind of thing. We used to, what was it, like the first 4 years, we didn't skip a single week ever, and that was kind of rough, rough a couple times. There were some rough times in doing that. So thanks for putting up with that. With that, we have a story beat, and I called up Charles and I said, what are you going to do with the story for 6.1? And this is what he said to me.
The beat goes on. The beat goes on.
So that is a recording of my phone call with Charles, just so you know. So thank you, Charles. The story beat did continue. So this is gonna be spoilery. So just if you haven't done 6.1 and the story beat, the Imperial and the Republic, we're gonna talk about it a little bit. We're gonna show a little bit of it. We're gonna just have fun goofing off, talking about it a little bit. It's not a lot. It's just a story beat, but we'll give our impressions. We'll talk about some fun parts. We'll talk about where we think what's going on. So if you are not prepared for that, you are not prepared. Then we'll catch you next week.
Avert your gaze.
Yes, run away, swim away. So here we go. Let's start off with the Imperial side because I have not done the Republic side yet. So Seema's going to talk about the Republic side. I will talk about the Imperial side. There's really 3 stories going on, and all 3 get hit in the story beat. One is, as the stories evolve, the main part of it is this assault, this little bit of a war that's going on. We assaulted Complex Meridian on Odessa. That wasn't
on Corellia.
Oh yeah, it was back on Corellia. But that was just that battle, not the end of the war. A couple factions have now been added to that ongoing war, and on the Imperial side, that's a revival of the Emperor's Hand. So the Emperor's Hand is an organization, and a representative that leads that organization comes to visit you on Odessin.
Right, Odessin.
One of the
correct.
O planets. I was getting it wrong. I kept saying Odessin, and then I ended up on Alderaan, and I zoned into Alderaan.
We should just say
no,
all
not
the planets
Onderon.
with an O, like OZ-198.
Oh, see what? Yeah. Otuine.
Orasant.
Orasant. Oh, look at these posters over here. Is that Tau
Taz.
Adair? Why is Tau Adair on a poster on Odessin? Look over here. Come over here.
Where's over here?
Over by the entrance to your Odessan base, the green door.
Oh yeah.
It's really kind of a colorful, sassy
I think
poster
it's because
of
she's just a handsome Jedi.
Tau Adair. But I'm an Imperial. Why do aren't I sort of
Oh
mad? I don't
no,
like her, right? I'm gonna shoot. I'm gonna shoot at it.
she destroyed our complex meridian.
Yeah. Well, which we wanted destroyed, so she actually helped us out. We were talking about that, but yeah. Oh, they must have added that in. They must have changed that.
I guess whoever stronghold this is, they just had to put a bunch of posters up.
Yeah, because they were decorating. They wanted 100% completion, so they just put up random posters.
Yeah, because they wanted their.
And all they
they're
had left was
going-
Tau Adair posters, so they stuck it up
They're
there.
going for the prestige points.
So what's his name? Darth Rivix? I think his name is Darth Rivix,
Rivix,
right?
yes.
So that's who we meet, and I even took video when I went through it, so I've got all my video here. He hollow calls and says, "Hey, yo, I'm coming. I'm on my way. I'm gonna be checking you out on Odessan." And you in the dialogue, I found it a little bit weird. So he shows up. He totally reminds me of Tom Hiddleston, Loki, his
Yeah.
face model, and
He
a
does.
little bit of his attitude. But you can be a little bit distrustful of him, but I don't think you have a choice besides just saying, "All right, come on, let me just give you full reign and walk around my whole Odessan base, and this is everything." So,
You actually can tell him that you don't.
yeah,
have-
what happens if you do?
It just fades to black.
Really?
Yeah, and then it starts again. And he goes, "Oh, I really like your place." He says, "Because you say, I'd rather have someone else do it. I'm busy."
So you just sort of skip that whole part?
Yeah,
Oh, you don't skip it. Just pretend that you're just. So what
Really into it.
my headcanon was, I don't know if I trust him, but I'm not gonna let somebody else give him the tour. I want to like observe him, and I want to be in control of like what he sees. So I walked him around. I introduced him to my trusted lieutenants, and I was like keeping my eye on him the whole time.
but before you do that, he has this awesome line. If you do the flirt option,
Which I did not, but yeah, what does he do?
I didn't either, but I saw this on YouTube. He says he makes some comment about your looks or whatever, and then you say, if you take the flirt option, you say, "You're not so bad yourself, Lord Rivix," and then he says, "Just bad enough, I hope." And then it's like, "I'd like a tour."
Is this human flirting? I I I do not know how humans interact, but okay, I'll have to remember that line. Said, "Do you want me to be bad?" I'll have to. I don't know.
I hope I'm the right amount of bad. I thought it was.
That's good. Yeah, that's a good line. Throwing it back at you. Do you see those little shoulder pads there? Those are kind of cool. He's got the little glowy shoulder pads there. He's got like little pauldron. Is that what they're called? Pauldrons?
I thought
It
I think
glows.
he's a good character. I like him.
Yeah. He's grown on me. I liked the model. I liked his attitude. And then you
But,
should do,
I
you
mean-
give him the tour and you get to introduce him to all your pals. And you run around, he follows you around, and then at each of the points you get to talk to Ogrub and
Yeah, you have a little conversation.
and
Ogrubs likes him. He's happy with him. He sent him.
Ogrub's pretty
some
cheery
science
guy and
stuff.
likes everybody. So
Yeah, that's true.
Ogrub's like, very, very interesting. We'll do something with you. And then I went to the Force wielder area,
Yeah.
and I think Sonoray has a quest for me, and I don't know why. It must be one of the alerts that I haven't done. But she's like all lit up for me, and I didn't know what the deal was with her. Like something new that I didn't recognize. Oh, there's Ogrub. Ogrub's like, Fascinating. Let me see here. Let's see what he said. It's a little quiet. I kept repositioning the camera so I would see it better. Can I hear where audio? You on? Oh, I muted it. Unmute.
It's wonderful to meet you, Dr. Ogorob.
You must be Darth Rivix. I cannot thank you enough for the wealth of materials you forwarded. Targeted viral pathogens, cross-species
Oh, he sent him
manipulation,
presents. That's why he likes him.
structures. Truly fascinating research.
Truly fascinating research. Yeah. And then you go see Smuggler Girl. What's her name? What's
Vislo.
Yeah, Hilo Viz. Yeah. Hilo Viz. And then you go see Sana Ray. And Sana Ray, I'm sure, says something like, hello. She doesn't talk very much. And then you go to the bar, don't you? And that's how you finish it up at the bar. And then and then that's about it. So then you actually go upstairs to the command center to finish the conversation. He tells you about, all right, so we've got more work to do because we had our victory because we destroyed the Meridian complex, which was kind of the point of what we were doing there. But we've got more work to do. Blah blah blah. So not a lot sort of happens besides just introducing the character and saying that the battle will continue. More deployment of ships. They're already en route. They're going to be inspected. They're coming here. They'll sort of be under your command, but they're not an occupation force, so you're still in charge. Blah blah blah. But that's it. So let's pause here because then I'll go back to the other two stories. So what happens on the Republic side? It's the Republic faction that's coming in. Who are they? I forgot.
Right. So it's kind of a similar structure, but the on the pub side who comes in is General Daerun and Master Nosgeral, and they're arriving at Odessa with a bunch of refugees that they have saved from some space pirates, and Tau Eder and Arn are out chasing down the pirates at this point.
Oh,
And
okay.
so where in the imp story where you go around and give them a tour, in the pub story you go around and distribute supplies to the refugees. And
Oh.
General Daerun and Master Nosteral are there sort of representing Task Force Nova. And General Daerun makes a comment that this thing where they go around to distribute supplies to the refugees is a fine, kickoff task for the new Task Force Nova.
Okay. So we have the Hand on the Imperial side and Task Force Nova on the Republic side.
Yeah.
You know what I just thought of? And in fact, because I didn't know what faction was coming in on the Republic side. I knew it was some sort of additional faction. I thought for a second it would have been kind of cool if they brought back, is it Seventh Line Jedi? Is that what they're called? Do you remember that group? I think when did they come in? They were part of Knights of the Eternal Throne. The Seventh Line Jedi. Were they on
The sixth
Ziost?
line,
Sixth Line Jedi?
You're talking about the sixth?
Yeah. Sixth line, whatever, sixth line, seventh line, whatever it takes. Were they on Ziost? I think they were on Ziost. Anyway, they were kind of cool. I remember them, and now I want more of them. I want them to come back. They're like a whole thing. They're like their own little bit of lore, and I think they were lore outside of Old Republic, they weren't invented in SWTOR. I think they were a thing before that. And now I want them back. Anyway, Task Force Nova, that's okay. Nosderal, he's kind of cool. Daerun's pretty cool. He's Rhino Man, right? Yeah.
He's I don't know what you mean by Rhino Man, but he's a cyborg.
Daerun is? No, General Daerun is.
No, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking. No.
Nosderal,
I was thinking of Arn. I don't know why I.
Oh yeah, where's Arn?
He's out with Tau Eder.
Oh, okay. Is he
chasing
still?
down.
Does he show up at all, or do they just reference him?
No,
Or
no,
they
no,
may
no.
just...
They don't. They don't. They don't.
Yeah, well, yeah. Where's Arn? Arn wasn't even in Meridian when you fight a Tawadare at the end. Arn wasn't even
No,
there.
wasn't.
What the heck, Arn? Arn was at least Arn was on Maksha quite a bit in the story. But yeah, where's Arn now? Aren't you coming back?
Ugh.
Because I met the voice actor for Arn, so we need more of his work.
Yeah.
So we shall see. Okay, so now we have the two factions introduced. That's the story beat. That the story beat. The beat goes on. That's part one of the story. There's two smaller. So look here on my bar. So you know, 3/4 of all of the story beat is introducing that faction. Then there's 1/8 of something else and 1/8 of the final thing. So the 1/8 in the
Right.
middle on the Imperial side is Darth Malgus. Do you have Darth Malgus on the Republic side?
There is it's a sliver. It's not Darth Malgus, but I'll tell you what it is
Oh,
after you.
okay. So let's look at Darth Malgus here. Check that out. Darth Malgus he's having a nightmare flashback, which is kind of fascinating. So it fades to black. It goes to him. It ends. You end up realizing it's a nightmare flashback, and it's, well, for me, it's Asina. For you, it might be Vauron or whoever the other emperor is.
Will not return.
And this is where she's like, like
I
turning him.
not.
Or
So
torturing him.
Yeah, she's torturing him to get him under his sway, and then does the implant, and that like makes him, forces him to her will. And then here he wakes up in this ship. So if you remember, when he crashes at Complex Meridian, he wakes up in an Imperial med center. This droid says, "Oh yeah, and I removed that failsafe device," and the doctor goes, "Oh crap." And then
Right.
Darth Malgus gets up and says, "I need that droid, and bring me a ship, and I'm out of here, suckers." And he takes off. So now he's in this ship with the medical droid. The medical droid has sort of like repaired all the physical damage, and they're having this little conversation, and they're saying, "You keep having these nightmares. You're waking up, freaking out, Malgus. It's in your head. It's psychological damage due to what Asina imposed on you, and torture and force will and all of that kind of stuff. I can't fix it." He's like, "Well, fix it, droid." The droid's like, "I can't." So he says, "I think I know a way to fix it." And so here he goes. He goes, "I've heard of a way
Then stop them.
on Dantooine." So he's headed to Dantooine. Here he goes.
I have heard of one possibility. Set course for Dantooine.
Set course for Dantooine. So he's going to Dantooine. So now we know that on the Imperial side. What did we learn on the Republic side in that little
So
sliver?
on the Republic side, when we get to this part, it starts with this sort of bucolic scene, and there's a woman walking through a farm, and obviously Dantooine, right? Because we already know that
Oh.
if you did the Imp story first, then Dantooine may be on your mind. Plus, it looks like Dantooine because we've been there and we've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
And she comes into her, a home, and there's a man there and a child, and he says, "What's wrong?" And she says, "It's Malgus. I can feel he's near." And then he says, "Then we must be ready for him." And then she turns and calls her lightsaber from across the room into her hand.
Huh.
And that's the end.
Okay.
But apparently, now I did not pick up on this, but just reading about it afterwards, these are characters. These two Jedi their two characters are Jedi, and they're from a book called SWTOR: The Old Republic Deceived.
Oh. Oh, are they?
Right.
I think I read Deceived. No, no, maybe I didn't. That's the Malgus. No, maybe I did. Anyway, I'll look it up while we're talking. See if I
Right.
read it.
So I just thought it was interesting because they're obviously Force users and they obviously know Malgus, and she's obviously keyed into Malgus enough to feel him approach. So yeah, we're gearing up for something on Dantooine for sure. And I think it's kind of cool because up until now, Dantooine has just been an event site for us. Now we're gonna obviously see more things going on Dantooine.
Yeah, yeah. I've not gone through Deceived. I thought I did. I was almost positive I did, but I guess not. 'Cause it's not in my Audible library, and that would have been where I would have done it in the time period that this came out. I'll double check on my bookshelves. But
I
yeah,
mean,
okay, so that's
I
pretty
haven't
cool.
read it either, so I wouldn't have picked up on it. But people who have read it said, "Oh, that's these two characters,
Ah, cool. Okay. Well, I like that. I like that.
Aaron Lanier and Zirid Core."
Huh. Well, maybe I'll go. Maybe it's time to go through Deceived. I just started another book, so I got to finish my book 2 of the First Lost series by Joe Abercrombie, and then I will go pick up Deceived and go through it. Cool, cool, cool. Okay, so now this brings us to the last segment, which is the same on both sides, right? You were saying it was the same. The
Yeah,
Kira and
it's the same.
Scourge segment.
Yeah,
So now we get back to a little bit of a story beat that goes on with Kira and Scourge, and I like it. I like it. It's a good little scene. So you catch up with them. You just see Kira and Scourge is throwing a tantrum. He's throwing a fit. He's chucking furniture around the room. He's kind of angry. He's a bit angry. He's hangry. I think that's what it is. He needs a snack. So let me go through here. Where do I click? Do I click on a thing? Keep going, keep going. There we go. He's just like mashing up the room.
It's waited too long as it is. Something is wrong. I'm sure of it.
And Kira's just like, oh, really?
Smashing up the place isn't going to solve anything. We'll find the ship.
They're a good pair.
It'll be all right.
I like them. Because she's like, she's like just like rolling her eyes. And Scourge
she's
is
super
just
earthy.
like getting mad. And she's like, smashing up the place, not gonna help. But whatever, Scourge. So you come in, you talk to them, you get to make some conversation choices, and I didn't realize, and I guess you get a little bit of a different reaction, but depending on your choice. So I ask about Satele and the followers,
Responding to our signals, and we've already checked the next schedule.
and he is quite snippy. Scourge is quite snippy because he's not happy. The conversation choice I chose was at the end. I say, and hey man, could you stop smashing up the furniture? And he turns, and this is one of the reasons I still think Star Wars: The Old Republic has the best cutscenes and conversations of any game. I've been playing some Final Fantasy. I'm trying to catch up with our guild and trying to level my character up in Final Fantasy. I'm in Heaven's Ward. I know I gotta wait and see in Stormblood and Lightbringers. I heard that it gets better, but in terms of the cutscenes in Heaven's Ward, it's a pretty good story. But the cutscenes I just do not like. The animations of the people, like your character is so dumb in the cutscenes. You just stand there and you nod your head, and then the other characters nod their heads, and you're still doing it in Heaven's Ward. They've started to voice stuff in Heaven's Ward, but the voices, there's like these long pauses between each line that's spoken, and then people nod their heads more. Here, I don't know how they can do it, and I know how they can do it because they put the time and effort into the system around making sure that the voice acting was a primary delivery mechanism for telling the story, for one. And for two, the cinematics that they were able to make with the in-game engine, including the emotional content of the in-game characters, they were able to do all with the tool set that they built special, which So brings me back to this. In this scene, when you make some snippy comment to Scourge and say, "Stop breaking my furniture," he turns to you and
he just gives you a look.
he just gives you the look for the conversation choice that I gave him. Where is it? I think it was before T7 comes in.
No sign.
Which leaves
Nothing.
just about
No sign.
200 or 300
Damn, I'm so pissed
zones to
off.
search.
There must be another way.
And here I go. I say, stop breaking my stuff.
Let's start by not breaking anything. This furniture wasn't free.
Now watch this. Look at that. That's it. He just like looks at you. He tilts his head and he squints his eyes like, WTF, man? Really? That's what you're coming back at me at? How could how perfect of a emotional content of an in-game emote are they able to do in that? I mean, if you, I don't know. That just blew me away when he here. Let me do it again. Here you go.
If you pick the other one of the other options where you say you're pretty angry, aren't you? And then he looks at you and kind of growls, which made me think of The Witcher.
The Witcher.
Yeah, it was totally. Yeah, it was like that. And then
You drop an F-bomb then?
in one of those in one of those choices, Kira also says something. I forget which one, but she says, well, it's been hundreds of years since he's had to deal with emotions, so he's still getting used to it again or something.
Yeah. She says that in this one.
Yeah, because if you pick the last one, the last option, then he says himself, damn these emotions.
So this is great. I like them as characters. We'll see where the story is going. I'm so on another, like mystical sickness for some Jedi, and Satil Shan is sick. Unless, as we said before, unless it goes really wacky and like dark side Satil Shan, I would love to see that, and maybe even like a little battle against her. I don't want to kill her, but a fight against dark side Satil, that would be kind of cool. But I like Scourge. I like Kira. They're a great element of the story. I like Malgus. I like Malgus's story. That's my favorite part of what's going on here. The whole hand
I'm not feeling
and the
dark side Steel.
You don't want that? You don't care about that?
Mm-mm. I want something else.
What do you want? What do you want to be happening? What would be interesting to you that would make would be a good payoff for whatever's going on with this?
I get what you're saying
ship.
is I feel like we already have done the sick Jedi story, because that's the
Consular's core story, right?
Yeah, the Consular class story. Yeah. And I feel like we've done the Jedi falls to the dark side. I mean, that's like that's essential Star Wars, basically.
Right.
So I'm not sure. I guess I'm open to
Ortolans.
Whatever.
You want Ortolans.
I do, but that wouldn't have to be in a story. If they just came and said, "Here, do you want an Ortolan?" I would say yes and be happy.
Orlan's playable race. Maybe that's what Keith is alluding to for 10th
and your
anniversary.
character would always go.
Dang it! Where's my? I gotta load up the rest of my stupid sound effects. Let's see, sounds. Let me add a sound effect. It's gonna take me too long to do it while we're talking.
And I don't really want to fight Satil Shan. I just don't want to fight Satil Shan. So.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, I wouldn't have wanted to fight Empress Asina either. So I'd rather have a. But if we're gonna fight someone.
But we did. Didn't we?
I didn't want to.
Yeah, I thought, but we did. You didn't want to, but. Oh no. I guess if you killed Asina, you didn't really fight her. She dies because of the throne on Iokath.
Right.
Okay. Oh, Fascinating. Is that what you want? You just want
Yeah.
that for forever?
Well, I mean, the reason I said that about Asina is because you said, maybe it'd be cool if we would fight Satil Shan. And I was just
Always young.
pointing out that I
It's been
don't want to
hundreds of
fight
years since-
Satil Shan, but it's not just because, she's a Jedi and I don't want to fight a Jedi. It's that just I don't want to fight the main characters in general. I want them to, move the story forward.
Yeah.
And
I like it when Satil Shan fights though. So
yeah,
maybe she gets to fight somebody else and we get to see another cool cinematic of her fighting, because
that would be cool.
that
Yeah.
would be cool.
I mean, maybe that's where we're heading. Maybe there's going to be a big fight between her and Malgus. If she ever gets well from her sickness.
Oh, but see, I like Malgus. I like both of them. I want them to be friends. Malgus has no friends. Malgus needs no friends. Malgus stands alone. Yeah. So we'll see where it goes.
I don't
We'll
know. Malgus is open to some stuff.
ally. I mean, he's open to allies of convenience to forward his objectives.
Yeah.
And I mean, not even of convenience, even long-term allies if it achieves his goals. But if at some point along that path it's better serves his goals to kill you, he will. But not out of malice and not out of randomness. He's lawful evil, not chaotic evil.
Yeah, he's a man with a mission.
Or no, wait, he's is that what it is? Or lawful evil, or he's whatever the opposite of chaotic evil, but still on the evil side.
He's like good, neutral, evil.
Good, neutral evil. So yeah, it's good and evil. It's lawful, chaotic. So he's lawful evil. That's what he is. Because he's got like a law. He's got like a goal, a set of rules that he lives by, to achieve goals for a greater good in his mind. But he does evil things to align with that progression of goals. So he's lawful evil. He's not chaotic evil where he'll just like kill random people along the way because he's a jerk, which a lot of Sith are chaotic evil. Cool. All right, so I think that sums it up. And it was just a beat, a little story beat. Beat goes on, and we'll see where it goes from here. Have they said when the next beat is coming out?
Story beat for far longer than it actually.
Yeah, yes, we did, didn't we? Our discussion of the beat was longer than the beat.
Yeah, but we knew that was going to happen, didn't we?
Yeah, to me it looks like I did 16 minutes in the story beat in my video. But yeah, that's what it was designed to be, and that was their objective with the story beat. So that's what we got. All right. Any closing comments, Seema, before we wrap up our story beat discussion for the week?
Nope.
All right.
Let's wrap it up, man.
All right. With that, our EPC 328 droid is ready to wrap up the podcast and broadcast this out to all of you. So we'll kick him out an airlock and get this going. Please keep up with us on Twitter at Max the Gray and at AIESEMA. And if you know any cool people that should be playing the game with us, tell them to come check us out at AIE-guild.org or on YouTube or on Twitter or on Twitch. And they can ask us for an AIE Guild invite. Our Discord information is on there on AIE-guild.org, and that's where we can catch up with you and get you in the game. And with that, we will talk to you soon.
Later, everyone.
Oops. So yeah, I'm out of it for a week and I forget how to do the podcast. There we go. Later, everyone.